Hello everybody. This is Ali Nan and today we are going to discuss the syllabus and the examiner's report of the paper of English Précis and Composition. English Précis and Composition is perhaps one of the most challenging papers in CSS examinations. English Essay and English Précis and Compositions have often been considered as the most difficult by most of the CSS aspirants. Especially after the revision of the syllabus since 2016, English Précis and Composition has been extremely challenging for most of the CSS aspirants. In the past half a decade, that is 2016 to 2019 and 20, more than 80% of the CSS aspirants have flunked in this paper. This does not mean that it is something which cannot be achieved or it is difficult to attain, but the primary thing that we need to consider is what is the demand of the question paper, what the examiner is looking for, what should a candidate prepare, and what are the areas that a candidate must have a complete grip on. For that purpose, you must know what is the precise syllabus of English Précis and Composition. Because some of the CSS aspirants have this confusion that maybe it is only about précis writing, which is perhaps the most important question of this paper. But there is more to this paper as well. Even to the question of précis writing, there is more than précis writing to that. Therefore, we have to consider what is there in the syllabus and what the examiner is looking for. So, first of all, the syllabus. The syllabus is divided into several questions. In fact, there are certain things, certain topics which are there in the syllabus, but there are certain variations when we look at the paper pattern, especially in the past half a decade, that is after the revision of the syllabus. The first question, according to the syllabus and the topic and the paper pattern, is of précis writing. Précis writing has been allocated or allotted 20 marks. In this question, you would be given a carefully selected passage from the works of literary writers or maybe any other form of writing. It can be expository, it can be argumentative, it can be narrative, but the passage would be easier to follow, not that difficult to comprehend, but still there would be some challenges and you have to condense it into a précis, a summary, which I'd be discussing in our further future communications, that how to write a précis. But in the paper, it has 20% marks. Then you can also expect another passage, which is a convention in most of the language tests, English language tests especially, that is a passage of comprehension, which is termed as reading comprehension. I would write it here in abbreviation for your facility, RC. It also has 20 marks. Reading comprehension has some similarities with précis writing, but still there are certain differences which you need to consider. In précis writing, you have to condense the passage, whereas in reading comprehension, you would be attempting different questions. So there will be different questions in relation to the comprehension passage which would be given to you in the question paper, and you have to answer them accordingly, and there are different natures of questions, and those would be discussed in future lectures as well, that what type of questions you get and how can you attempt these questions when encountering a reading comprehension passage. The third most important aspect is in the form of MCQs, which is in fact the part A or section A of your paper, that is of synonyms and antonyms vocabulary. Here I am using the abbreviation S&A for synonyms and antonyms, and again these have 20 marks. So you would be getting 10 words for the category of synonyms and 10 for the category of antonyms, and each word will have 4 different options, and you have to select one correct answer for each word, which you have to mark on the OMR sheet, and you have to fill the correct option, and then you have to hand it over back to the invigilators, and then your papers would be marked on that OMR sheet, which is a computer generated sheet. Apart from these questions related to vocabulary, you have some more questions of vocabulary. These vocabulary questions are further expanded into the questions of pairs of words. Pairs of words have 5 marks. Another relevant or related question is of idioms. Again, these have 5 marks. And we also have a question of analogy or grouping of words, and these also have 5 marks. So we have 15 more vocabulary related marks. So in total we have 35 marks which are related to vocabulary. The fourth area which we need to consider is grammar. Grammar related questions are divided into the categories of punctuations. 5 marks. Narration, that is changing the narration. Again, 5 marks. Sometimes this question of narration is replaced by the question related to prepositions, which can also have 5 marks. There is another important question related to grammar, that is sentence correction. Again, 5 marks. Punctuations, narrations or prepositions, and then sentence correction. So these are again 15 marks. So now look at the scheme: 20, 20, 40, 40, 20, 60, 60, 15, 75, 75 and 15, 90, and we are left with 10 more marks, and that is related to language in use. That specific question is of translation. In translation, you would be given a passage which you will have to translate. They can also give you 10 sentences which you would be required to translate, but in the past half a decade we have been getting paragraphs which the examiner expects the candidate to translate. This is the entire scheme of your syllabus or the paper pattern which you have to keep in mind. So these are the bases which you need to cover. Another significant aspect is how the examiners are evaluating your paper, or what the examiners are looking for, and why the candidates are flunking in this paper, or what makes this paper challenging for most of the candidates. First of all, in all these areas there is one common thread: vocabulary and grammar, even in précis writing and comprehension. Without vocabulary and grammar, précis writing and comprehension becomes a difficult task. Therefore, the examiner's report of 2016 becomes highly significant. I'm discussing the examiner's report of 2016 for 2 reasons. Number one, that it was the first paper after the revision of the syllabus. Number two, in 2016, it was one of those rare years when English précis and composition had a higher failure rate as compared to English essay. More than 90% of CSS aspirants flunked in English précis and composition in 2016. The examiner's report of 2016 is not alarming, but it is in a way more self-explanatory for those candidates who do not understand that why they have flunked in that paper. The examiner's report of 2016 has highlighted certain areas which were the reason of failure for most of the CSS aspirants. The first thing that the examiners mention is about précis writing, that why candidates flunked in English précis and composition. So most of the candidates did not know how to write a précis. Number one, that the candidates did not know that they have to write it in third person, which will be discussed in detail on the lecture on writing précis writing. Writing a précis can be challenging if a candidate has no idea about the tense which they have to use. Mostly you are required to use past tense for précis writing or for précis passages, but candidates who had not used those, they flunked in that paper. Another area which was indicated in the examiner's report of 2016 was that most of the candidates wrote the précis in several paragraphs. A précis has to be in a single paragraph. Then the examiners continue to write that the candidates had no sense about syntax, English grammar and English vocabulary. This is alarming because rest of the paper is related to vocabulary and grammar. So it means if there are errors of vocabulary and grammar in précis, there would be errors in rest of the questions as well. The examiners explicitly mention that the candidates had no idea of English writing convention. English writing convention is different from Urdu writing convention or any other language. Every language has its own writing convention. The candidates did not have any sense of English language syntax. Syntax is a significant aspect of the marking categories when it comes to précis writing. The examiners also mentioned that most of the candidates had committed spelling mistakes. Another area of concern for the examiners was that the candidates had no sense of capitalization, how and when and where to use the capital letters. Thirdly, examiners had no sense of using punctuations, for which we also have a separate question, and then it also has utility in sentence correction and in all the other questions. Another area which the examiners had mentioned in the examiner's report of 2016 was that most of the candidates had not written a language which was a joy to read. This is an interesting sentence. The examiner is going through several questions, several answers, several papers. There is maximum choice with the examiner to distinguish the best candidate from the worst and then the layer of average candidates. So they are looking for papers which are a joy to read. What is a joy to read? A joy to read is a question paper or an answer sheet which is based on English language convention, which targets the requirement which is there in the question paper. Afterwards, the examiners mentioned that there were certain papers in which there was first language interference. This is even more alarming. First language interference. It is alarming because we are appearing in a paper of English language, but when the examiner is going through your answers, the examiner feels that you have not followed the English syntax or English language convention. You have been translating it constantly from another language and you are following the language convention of another, your mother tongue or maybe any other language which you feel more comfortable with. So you have to build that ability and capability as well so that you can display that you have command over English not as a foreign language but as a first language. That would be discussed in another session, that what is the difference between a command over English language as first language, foreign language or a second language, and what the examiners prefer. So in short, this is how your syllabus and paper pattern goes. I hope that you would be following these points which were there in the examiner's report and the content which is required according to the syllabus of English Précis and Composition.